Let's inform you that some students of the University of Lagos hit the streets on Wednesday to protest the increment in tuition fees of the institution. This is the second protest in 1 week by UNILAG students who were joined by students from other universities to hit the streets with chants centrally on the need for the school and its authorities to reduce the new fees. Some of the students said the hike in the fees did not wear a human face, and they will continue to protest until things return to status quo. They are also asking the federal government to invest the proceeds from the subsidy removal on education rather than allow any increment in school fees. Now, joining us this morning on Breakfast Central is Alimilekon Idris, is the chairman, Nigerian Association of National Association of Nigerian Students, JCC Lagos State. Good morning. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Idris.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good to have you join us. Give us updates on what exactly is going on in UNILAG as to the protest. I did see that there was some controversy, a couple of days ago when policemen fired tear gas at these protesting students. So, can you give us, updates on what has been happening?
Okay. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Comrade Alimilekon Idris, the chairman, National Association of Nigerian Students, Joint Campus Council, Lagos, Lagos. Yeah, sometimes last week we went on a protest to let them know that to present our displeasure about the hike in fee. To cut the long story short, we met with the commissioner of police, because when they arrest some of our comrades, we won't fold our hands and let them go with them. We met with him. We discussed with him that, sir, this is a national issue. So the management of UNILAG should not use the police force against the Nigerian students. And as a father, he was able to release those comrades for us. Now to the bone of contention. We want a total reversal. We want them to revert the hike in fee. We don't even want reduction. We want them to revert the hike in fee. So that's what we are clamoring for. And by the special grace of God, today we'll be meeting with the management of UNILAG. The Ministry of Education is fully aware of our agitations. They are fully aware of it. They've called the national president. So myself, the national president, some UNILAG students, and the faculty president in UNILAG will be meeting with the management of UNILAG today by 12. So that is what is on ground for now.
All right, we hope that this meeting does yield some form of positive result. But we'd like you to help us see exactly how drastic this increment is. There are several reports about what it was before, what it was now. I've seen in some cases, some saying it was 19,000 naira before and now over 190,000. So can you give us like a picture of what the increment looks like?
Yeah, the increment, when after the old thing, because we have about 3 sets of students, the one that make use of the workshop, and those that don't make use of the workshop, the medical students, that's the third set of students. According to the statistics, the increment is about 600%. So if you are saying they should reduce, they might not even still give us what we want. So we want them to revert the fee, because 600% increments at this particular time, it is very, very tough, and nobody is even ready to pay that. So it is 600% increment. I'm very sure of that.
Was there any reason given for the increment?
Not really, not really.
It was an arbitrary increment.
Till this very moment, we are yet to get any genuine reason.
All right, we'll come back to talk about
the blame it on the economy.
Okay, we'll come back to talk about the increments. Let's talk about the protest. How have the protests been? There have been conversations about tear gas being released on students. Can you confirm this or not?
That's good. The picture, we have the picture, we have the videos. So, and I believe pictures and videos don't lie. So that is nothing but the sincere truth. But I believe when we had the protest yesterday, though I won't call that a protest, a peaceful demonstration yesterday, because since they called for meetings today, I see no reason why we should have a very long protest. So after the demonstration yesterday, I think the Nigerian police force were able to calm the whole issue, unlike the previous one we had last week. So
Alright.
we have the pictures, we have the videos. That's nothing but the sincere truth.
What exactly is the UNILAG's body saying about this? We're saying here that the VC, Ms. Ogunshola, recently assured that no student of the university will drop out as a result of the fee hike. She went further to say that the university will adopt measures such as scholarship opportunities, work-study programs, and instrumental payment options, amongst others, wherein, for example, you can pay 3 times before the closure of the academic year. Is this something that you're aware of, and is this something that you're comfortable with?
Well, to me, that does not hold, because you saying you want them to pay instrumentally. I see no reason why you want them to pay instrumentally. When a student paying 21,000 naira before is now paying 190 something thousand, I see it as scam. That's the basic truth. I see it as scam. If you should return it to that initial amount, there is no point paying 3 times.
No, not returning it. She's talking about
3 times.
She's talking about with the increment. For example, if your school fees was 24,000, like you just mentioned, and now it's 150,000. What she's saying is that 150,000 you can pay installmentally. You don't have to pay it at once. Or there's also the work and school facility available. So you don't think that any of these things would work?
It won't. We don't believe in that. If you want to do us a favor, do us a favor. Let it be a complete favor. Don't you don't expect to beat a child and expect that child not to cry. All of those things won't work.
Yeah.
That's not what we want at the moment.
Okay.
We don't want any plans of such. We don't want it, and we won't even subscribe to that.
Let me also just confirm. Are we talking 24,000 naira, for example, per semester, or is it the whole academic year for 24,000 naira?
The session.
Okay, so the session. I don't know if you've heard arguments like this. If someone says to you that, 24,000 naira for a whole session, that's pretty cheap. That's really, really low. And if you were going to school outside Nigeria, for example, you would pay a whole lot more than that to school and to learn training as a medical doctor, as a lawyer, as an engineer. So would you agree somehow, some way that education in Lagos, in UNILAG, has been greatly subsidized, and the university needs to find a way to fund itself to improve on the quality of education that it's giving you? And so maybe it's okay that they increase it, maybe not to 190,000, but at least a little bit to make more money for the university. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I don't think. Well, in the same nation, in the same environment, education should be free. Back in the days of Awolowo, according to history, education was free then. So the government should fund the educational system. We have the president affirmed that the money they get from subsidy is way much. I believe they can use part of that money to fund the educational system. In the same country, education should be free. So now back to the issue of UNILAG. If I thought they will be increasing it, the percentage should be very, very low. It should not be on the high side. 600% increments in this period, at this period of time, is very, very, it is too much. And we won't even agree to that at all. I can assure you that if she refused to listen to us, we are not ready to listen to her. I mean, the VC of UNILAG.
All right.
So for now, we won't even subscribe to that. The money is too much. The increment is too much. That percentage is too much.
What percentage? Can you give me an example of a percentage that you think might be? Because you guys are going to go into negotiations today. So give me an example of what percentage would be fair enough.
It should not be more than 50%. It should not be more than 50%.
So 50% would, if, for example, you were paying, I don't know how much your school fees is. So if you were paying 10,000 naira before, you're saying that it's okay if they increase it to roughly, say, maybe 50,000?
No, not 50,000.
15.
No, that's how you calculate it.
How do you calculate it?
I mean, so 24,000 naira school fees, now will probably be 36,000
My math is a bit flawed. So anyway, regardless
at
of what
50%.
we're saying, you're saying that 50% is what you're working with as opposed to the 600%.
At the moment.
And that's a fair deal. You're going into negotiation. You're going into negotiation now. So if you're paying,
We are not even ready to negotiate that. Get me right.
okay.
We want a total reversal.
Do you think that's obtainable at this moment? Do you think that a total reversal is obtainable at this moment?
Freedom comment by struggle. There's no harm in crying.
All
We
right.
are ready to. That's what we want to present to her. But so if I thought she's saying okay, there's no way we won't increase the fee. So we are going with 50%. I think 50% is fair enough.
Yeah. Are you also a student of UNILAG?
No. I'm not.
Okay. But you're with the NANS, the National Association of Nigerian Students?
Yes, I'm the state chairman of NANS.
How much support is UNILAG getting? I mean, this is great that you're not a student of UNILAG, but how much support? Can you give us an idea of how much support UNILAG is getting from other universities as the protest is ongoing?
Well, the sincere truth is the students of UNILAG are willing to support. Though some of them are outside there, they are ready, they are with us. Some of them are with us, but there's this issue of indemnity form. During their course of registration, they give them a form which we call indemnity form. Some of those students are afraid to come out to protest because they don't want the situation whereby after the whole issue, the management will be against them. The management will want to stylishly rusticate some of them. So that is why we have issue with some of them coming outside to let the whole world know, okay, they are not happy with this. So it is only the issue of indemnity form that has been stopping some students. But aside that, even with that, some students are there outside with us. They've been supporting us in the whole struggle. The faculty presidents were with us last week when we had the first meeting, the first protest rather. So I believe, despite the fact that the management of UNILAG are working tirelessly for their students not to support or to go with us, yet some students are still there. You can't remove the comradeship in them. So they are really with us. They are with us.
All right. Confirm, that there's also talk about a meeting with the DSS. Is that also happening?
Yes, I'll be meeting with the DSS today. That's the leadership of NANS Lagos.
What's the meeting about?
Nothing to do with the meeting with UNILAG VC. That's another case entirely.
So the meeting with the UNILAG VC is totally different from the meeting with the DSS?
Yes, it's different.
Can you give us an idea what the subject matter of the meeting with the DSS?
No, it's just a security meeting.
Okay. So what's currently going on?
With UNILAG.
All right. What's currently going on in UNILAG? Whilst you talk about the indemnity form, some have argued that this indemnity form is unconstitutional as it deprives them of their right to freedom of assembly. But whilst some are not able to come out and protest, you said some have joined. Would you say that, give us a picture of what's going on in UNILAG at the moment? Are there lectures ongoing? Is it still business as usual in some measure?
Yes, I guess they are yet to resume fully. So we can't really give a very good breakdown of the whole issue. But I think at the moment they are yet to resume fully.
Okay. Did you graduate from UNILAG?
No.
Okay.
I'm not a student of UNILAG. I'm the chairman.
Okay, you're a member of the National Association of Nigerian Students. I thought you have to be a student at least to be a member of the Association of Nigerian Students, but yes. Maybe I'm getting it wrong.
I'm a student of Lagos State Polytechnic, now Lagos State University of Science and Technology.
Oh, okay, brilliant. That's the clarity I was seeking. I want to probe further. I've got trying to play devil's advocate here. The quality of education in UNILAG, what would you rate it as? Would you say that UNILAG gives good quality education? And if there's the argument that if they need to afford better quality education for students in every department, they will need to, of course, fund it better. We're also aware, yes, that there's been a removal of subsidy, but it's not UNILAG that is going to take that subsidy money and fund itself. It has to be the Nigerian government. So there has to be an argument towards the Nigerian government not to UNILAG. And so if UNILAG says to you that we need to fund better education, we need to build better hostels for our students, we need to build better laboratories and the likes for our students, and to do that, we need to increase school fees. Would that be something that you're willing to understand with the management of UNILAG?
We are not ready to comply to that. So the sincere truth is, the government should be the one in charge of funding the education.
Yes.
So they should not put the blame on us. They should face the government. The whole issue is coming from the government. So they should face the government. See, even as a student, we have a lot of things to do with money. Now going to school, there's no way you won't use transportation. You board a car going to school. Initially, they pay about 100 naira from the gate to their to their department. Now they've increased it to about 200 naira. The cost of food is there, the feeding. There's no way you won't eat. So considering some things on our own side as students, I believe they should face the government. The whole struggle should not come to Nigerian students. So
All right.
it is not as if we are facing the UNILAG management alone. So the reason why we are facing the management of UNILAG alone now is just because the president of Nigeria says all schools should spend their increment at the moment. So that is why we are facing UNILAG. Let's assume we did not get any information from the presidency, from the president of Nigeria. We won't be facing the management alone now. But since the information says they should hold any increments across the nation at the moment, so I believe we have to face that institution. So that is why we are against the management of UNILAG at the moment.
Is
But on the other
UNILAG,
hand, the government should fund the educational system.
is
Thank
UNILAG
you.
the only institution at the moment that has talked about an increase? As a chairman of NANS, I'm sure that you can tell us what the position is in other universities across, the country. So is UNILAG the only institution at this moment that has talked about it, that has actually spoken about an increase? Or are there other universities that are speaking about potentially increasing?
Yeah, thank you. Well, me, I'm the chairman of Lagos. So the
Okay.
only affected school in Lagos is UNILAG. But the other hand, to be candid, I get to know that there is also one school, I guess UI, Unilongi, OAU. No, not yes, OAU. Those three schools are trying to increase it, but they've not put that on the portal. So that's not on their portal at the moment. But there's an issue going on in those schools as regarding that increment too. But UNILAG, the issue of UNILAG, we have that payment, that school fees now, the new school fees on the portal. So that is why we are agitating that they should remove that. We don't want it at the moment, unlike the other schools.
All right.
Okay, well, it's a tough time for Nigerian parents and, of course, for Nigerians generally, including students. So, I'm hoping that you and, of course, the representatives of the university have some, middle ground where you meet.
Yeah.
And we would like to speak with you again, at the end of your
Before
meeting
we wrap
today.
up, I just want you to share with us, like, maybe one of the most heartbreaking stories. I think there's one story that we all saw on social media, and the young girl will be Tomi Tokbaya Folashade. She's a 200 level UNILAG student. And we did see her at the protest and crying. Have you been able to speak with any of them? Have they shared with you, just how personally this increase affects them? What would you say, or which would you say is the most heartbreaking story? It's a generally heartbreaking situation, but are there any particular stories you'd like to share of how this has affected some students?
See, like I said earlier, an injury to one is an injury to all. We are all affected. We are all affected. So, at the moment, it's a general something. It's a general something. So I would want to say, okay, it's only one person that the whole issue is affecting.
Oh, no, no, of course. I know
So
that's
it's
why I said
affecting
it's a
everybody.
generally heartbreaking situation, but some people are more willing to explain exactly, how it affects them or explore, just like the young lady did on camera. I was hoping you could share that with us. But yes, you are right that an injury to one is an injury to all, and that the federal government needs to look into this, UNILAG needs to look into this, and the Nigerian students do not deserve this. Thank you so much for your time with us this morning.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, they, of course, they have stated that they will be having a meeting today. So after the meeting, hopefully we get some feedback on, what agreements have been reached. I just had to put out the argument that education is reasonably cheap. And the yes is the, part where education can be free. Yes, but
We're not there.
maybe not on every level. Primary level, secondary level. Maybe not tertiary level across the country.
But certainly not a 600% increase.
Yeah,
I wonder
no,
what I
not
would have been
definitely
able
not.
to do, what I would have done if I was in university and the school fees was increased up to 600%.
Not even you, your parents. Whoever it is that was responsible for your
Do you
school
know if I was
fees.
responsible for my school
Oh yeah,
fees?
sorry, you were.
Exactly,
Okay.
But no, yeah, I wasn't.
But the point is, I believe that, like you said, we're not there yet as a country where we can say we have been able to afford free education for primary, secondary, and tertiary students across the country.
With the
We're not there yet.
quote-unquote subsidized education that we offer, we've still not been able to get it right, as we're having incessant strikes every other day.
Yeah.
Strikes for non-payment of salaries. They're talking of IPPIS, and then the different modes of payment for lecturers. We're talking about an underfunded system in the education sector. We haven't even sorted all of that out.
Yeah.
So now adding increase
Yeah,
to
but
price of school
But
fees.
it's also I think it's also important to just note that it is greatly subsidized.
It is.
The school fees that we're talking about here for a session at 24,000 naira is astonishing, because I know that a lot of people have Googled schools abroad in the
but
last
you
couple of
can't compare
years.
the standards.
No, I'm just saying. Well, if
No,
you,
you can't.
I mean,
No.
maybe, that's a different argument
If I'm paying
entirely.
school fees abroad.
No, that's a different argument
Yes.
entirely. Let's not get into that. But the point is, it is greatly subsidized. What do you expect from a university that has or a system that has greatly subsidized education, thousands of percentage, when you're paying 24,000 naira for a whole year, to give you laboratories to work with, to give you great working environment, to give you great hostels to live in? That's a lot of of subsidies being paid for education already. Can Nigeria afford it at this time to continue to subsidize? Maybe not. It's a struggle. And I understand that since the cost of living has gone up across the whole country, the cost of running business has gone up across the whole country, it is going to be, really, really difficult, on the university's side to continue to afford to subsidize things on that level. Do they have to, of course, have these conversations with the federal government? Absolutely. But maybe at the end of these discussions they will. And of course, you remember that ASU, is still hanging in the corner, disgruntled also.